Happy Friday! Today we're going to be coloring in this book. We did one on Wednesday. If you haven't seen it, go watch it first, then come back to this one. This is the newest book by Hanna Karlzon, and I think it translates to something to the effect of spirit animals. And I am in love with this book, and I'm so excited. So on Wednesday, we colored this beautiful girl with her goose feathers, and yes, it's just beautiful. I love how it turned out. I did finish the black background since you saw it last, but I just use those Posca paint markers. So I've got little tiny ones all the way up to mega honkin' fat ones that can fill in those big areas really quick. So I just use those. So that's what I did there. We're gonna work on this goose today. So we're gonna use all the same pencils, keep the colors really similar. Hopefully this video will be relatively short, but you know, we'll just see how it goes. Maybe we'll have to lengthen it, add some sparkles, who knows. So let's get started. Alright, so on our goose here, we want to do the same things that we did on our goose girl. So I want to do the black background with the Posca paint pens, and then I want to put all the gold embellishments around him and on here, just like we did on the other one, using those colors. And I also want to make the crown gold. So let's do a piece of the crown. I always say crown. It's very difficult for me. I don't know why. When I was a little kid, I used to say crown for a crayon, and so I get confused. I don't know, it's just something like those little twerks you do as a kid, and then I have to think about it every time I say crayon or crown. So we'll color the crown gold. So let's zoom in on it just a little bit, and that'll show you the colors that I'm using for my gold. I'm using polychromos today, just like we did on the other page. And the polychromos are a beautiful pencil. There's all of a sudden a ton of noise outside, you guys. I hope that you can't hear all that. If you can, I apologize. So with the polychromos pencils, they are a harder pencil than the Prismacolors that I usually use, which has its benefits. It keeps its point longer, which is great for hair or eye details. You know, anything that you want to keep that point. It's great, but they blend a little different. They don't kind of smush together like the Prismacolors do. It's better to like add more layers. And so that's kind of what we're trying to do, is we want to add those layers and press into the paper. So they're a little bit, I like Prismacolors because I do have some fatigue in my wrists from years and years of playing musical instruments, and so it's difficult for me to put too much pressure. I gotta figure out what's going on outside. Okay, sorry, it's like the first beautiful day of the year, and so I've had my window open, so I just shut it again so that maybe block out some of that sound. So anyway, so I have fatigue in my wrist, and so it's hard for me to go too long with pressure. So I'm still going to go light-handed with these, but put multiple layers of it, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's get started with this crayon. I'm going to I'm going to use Cream, which is 102. And I'm going to base coat everything that I want gold. So this is just a good place to lay out your idea. What do I want? Gold? Do I want some of it a different color? Do I want all of it gold? I think I kind of want most of it to be gold. But we'll leave like that inner part there. Maybe Okay, I do want this gold. Like this down here, and then the background. All right, so that's what I think we're gonna do. Maybe I'll do these little loopies gold as well. Okay, so that gives us our idea. Now I'm just gonna do a part of this so you can see the idea, and then I'll do the rest of it off screen so we can move on to something else. So I'm gonna take, this is dark Naples Ochre, and I'm going to put this all over the crown except where I want the brightest highlights, which I think will be maybe right here. So we'll bring it up and we'll put a little on the tip there, and we'll leave a highlight. Okay. We'll leave a highlight right there at the top. Okay, we'll do that much. All right, so then our next color is going to be burnt ochre, and we're going to do the same thing, and we're just going to start from the most shadowy part and color it in. Then I'm going to leave the edge alone. Okay, and then this part's underneath, so it's in the shadow. So for metallics, we want that contrast between the light and the dark. All right, so this is behind, so it's going to be in the shadow, and then I'm going to pull it up on the inside, but not on the outside of that. Here, and then pull it up there. And then we have the shadow, bring it up, and then we have a shadow under here, and we just won't let it meet in the middle. Okay. All right, then let's get Nougat, and let's start in the shadow part and pull it up the inside. And we'll get right under here as well, and then pull it down the outside. Okay, and then here as well. Pull it up the inside, but not take it all the way up. And here we're in the shadow. We're just not going to take it out as far as we did the burnt ochre. And same with here. Okay, then our next color is orange glaze, and we're just going to go over the Nougat. So just kind of to brighten, orange it up a little bit, warm up that brown. So just a light layer over the top of that Nougat. Okay, then we're going to go with black and put it in the deep dark shadows. Then we're going to go back to that cream and go over all of it. Okay. Alright, so that gives us our gold look. So I'm going to do that on all of it that I colored cream. And then I'm also going to go ahead and color the background black with the Posca paint pen, and then we'll look at the goose. Alright, so we got our gold done in our black background. So now let's do the beak and his eye. So I'm looking and I'm seeing that if we want to do an orange beak, it's kind of darker orange here and then lighter here, and then the orange goes around their eye as well, and then the eye is pretty dark. So let's grab, let's go ahead and grab black for the pupil of his eye. Alright, and then let's grab the indigo, and we'll put a little indigo in for his eye, as well as some Nougat. We just kind of have a pretty dark eye. That's kind of the colors we used on her eye as well. And we'll go back in and put some highlights in it, but just for now, pretty dark eye. Okay, so then we want it to be a darker orange and then a lighter orange, and then this is like a hole, so it would be darker. Alright, so let's grab our darkest orange that we have, which is actually light cadmium red, and let's put some of that on there. Let's put that in the, we might want to grab a darker one too, or we could use a Nougat also to darken it up. We'll put some here. Gonna give him a little smirk there. Alright, and then let's put in some shading. We might go back in with Nougat and make it even darker, but for now, okay. I'll go right around. I'm just using light pressure, circular motions. Okay, let's grab the orange glaze. Okay, I've colored all of that in with this orange glaze, but I've left a highlight there and a highlight there. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, then let's take dark cadmium yellow. These are all the colors that we used on the gems on the other page. I'm going to tie it together. Alright, I'm going to grab just a little bit of the Nougat and put right in the deepest, darkest spots. To add a little more dimension there. Awesome, looking good. So we'll do that for his beak. I think, so we're going to do him a gray, and then the bow is going to be a purple, but we don't have the pink from her face, and so I think maybe we should do the gems on him the pink. So, or use those same colors that we used for her skin. So that is what I am going to grab, are some of those colors. Alright, so let's take cinnamon, and let's do, alright, we'll just do one of these up here. So let's grab cinnamon and get it in the edges. And maybe let's get them on. Right around the edge there. Alright, then let's grab the medium flesh and kind of put that in a little bit. Just here and there. Just kind of scribbling it. Okay, and let's take just a little bit of the dark flesh to add just a little more pink in a few spots, maybe on the right hand side of these gems. I kind of forgot these ones. We'll just cinnamon, medium flesh, a little dark flesh, and then we'll take the light flesh kind of fill it in. Okay, then let's take just a little bit of the black. Is this black? No. Black. Put right on the edge there. Awesome. All right. Let's look at this goose. So we want to use the same colors that we used on the feathers on the other page, which is Nougat, Cold Gray 4, Cold Gray 3, and Cold Gray 2. So we'll start with the Nougat and put in those shadows. And I'm just going to do lightly, I'm going to make it look like this is hollow. Anyways, so I said that I would tell a story about a goose. So when we were kids, I have two younger brothers. I'm the oldest in my family of kids. And I have two younger brothers. And we would go camping quite often. We didn't have a lot of money. My dad graduated college the year before I graduated high school. So the whole time I was growing up, like he really worked hard to support our family, but it was rough. And so we didn't have a lot of extras, and we would go camping. That was what we would do for our vacations and fun and stuff. And my grandparents had bought into this camping membership thing when my dad was young, and so we would use their card and their ownership in these campgrounds to go camping for relatively nothing. So they were really nice campgrounds. Like, they were more posh than dirt camping. We did some dirt camping as well, but when we would go to these Camper World sites, they were really nice. And the one we liked the best was in Coville, Utah, and it was near Echo Reservoir, and it had lush grass and lakes to fish in and a swimming pool, showers. My parents and grandparents would bring their trailers, and us kids would sleep in tents, you know, when we were younger, or if it was really cold, because sometimes we'd go in October and April, we would sleep in the trailers as well. But a lot of times I would have my own tent, and my brothers would have a tent that they would share. And it was just a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. But one year we were camping at this campground in Coville, and like I said, I have two younger brothers. I have Aaron, who's just 2 years younger than me, and then Caleb, who is 6 years younger than me. So I didn't hang out or play with Caleb a lot, just that we were so many years apart in age, but Aaron and I are and still are pretty good friends. And anyways, so I don't remember how old we were. I'm thinking that Aaron was probably around 8 or so. I'm not sure. He might have even been a little older than that. But we would go down to one of the little lakes that was on the campground, and there were some geese, some Canadian geese that were, I don't know, migrating or something, a whole flock of them. And the cool thing about geese, or I think is cool, is that they mate for life. They find a life partner and they mate for life, and they, you know, travel and have a little family life. Anyway, so there was a Canadian goose, a particular one in this flock of geese, that for whatever reason decided that it really liked Aaron, and so it started following us around this campground to the point that like other campers would ask us if it was our goose. Like, it just followed us around. We couldn't get too close to it. It would back up, you know, we could feed it little things, but it would stay really close with us and follow us around and just waddle after us everywhere we went, especially Aaron. And yeah, the other campers would ask us, like, is that your goose? Like, you know, who has a pet goose? But it just really liked us. We think that it had lost its companion, its spouse, and so it was really lonely, but it would follow us around and it would hang out with us. It would sit near our campsite when we were playing games, and it was just so strange. And after we would go to bed, it would like follow my parents around, and it was just the cutest little Canadian goose. But of course we had to leave it there, and we never know what happened to it. But it's just so sad that it was so lonely, but it was really kind of fun that we had this goose for the summer. It would follow us around. So way cute. Gray 4. We all remember it so well that it's like something we still talk about. And if it happened around when I was 10, I mean, that's over 20 years ago that we still talk about this goose that we had for one of our camping trips. I'm going over the top of any of that brown and then just taking it out a little further. So, little geese, they have a little soft spot in our hearts. Okay, then we'll go to our next lightest, which is going to be the Cold Gray 3, and just do the same thing. Alright, so we used our lightest color, Cold Gray 2, just to blend him out a little bit more, fill in the page. I really like how he looks. I think he kind of looks like kind of fluffy, and I think he's quite cute. Alright, so our bow is going to be the purple that we used for our other page's hair. So we're going to start with indigo, dark indigo, and we want to put that in the shadows. Again, I'm not using a lot of pressure. If I want it darker, I just go over that spot a lot. And these pencils, that's just the best way to use them, is to just keep layering them. Okay, and then we'll go to our mauve. And we're going to go right over the top of the indigo and then pull it past it a little bit. So this will just purple up that indigo. And then go right over it and then kind of pull it out further so that we're fading into some lighter colors. Okay, then let's go to purple violet. We'll kind of do the same thing. Go over everything we've done so far and just pull it out a little further. We want to leave some white for a highlight so don't cover up everything. Alright, then I'm going to take the cold gray one and go all over, see if we can pull some of that purple into the highlight, but still remain that nice highlight. Alright, he's looking really good. So we just want to put some final touches on him. So I have that gel pen that I used on the other page. I can't tell you specifically which gel pen it is because it doesn't have a number or a name, but I will link the gel pens that I purchased down in the description box down below. I am currently on the hunt for a white Posca paint pen, which I think is probably here. Yes, there it is. All right. All right, let's start with the gel pen. And we're going to use this to put in those little final touches on the crown and on these little This is a sparkle gel pen, so it just gives it a little sparkle when it moves. I don't know if you can, there we go. So it's just kind of fun. Right, great. So now let's just take that white Posca paint pen. We're just going to add a couple of little highlights, nothing too extreme. Put one up here, maybe one there, a couple on his eyes. And then down here. There we go. Oh, I really like it. I like how they really go together. Just looks really nice to do both pages in the same color scheme. That's kind of, sorry, excuse me, that's what I plan on doing with this whole book, is kind of making everything a 2-page spread and using the same colors. Because I think that's just how this book is set up, and I just really like it. I really love this book. So a fox, I would do, you know, use the same colors. You know, there's more vegetation over here, so obviously I'd probably add some green, but I try to use and correlate and make them really go together. So I hope you enjoyed this 2-page spread and kind of this 2-day project. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, that you find time to color and relax and de-stress and just enjoy some of your day and some of your weekend. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.